Humans lost almost all of their body hair roughly 1.7 million years ago. Every other primate kept theirs. Chimps, gorillas, orangutans, all still covered. Humans went nearly bare. Chest, back, legs, gone. And yet, every man on the planet still grows a beard. Evolution spent over 1 million years removing hair from the human body, then stopped, right there on the jaw. There is a reason for that, and it has almost nothing to do with keeping warm. Around 1.7 million years ago, a species called Homo ergaster started running long distances. The strategy was to chase prey across open ground until the animal overheated and collapsed. This works only if you can stay cool while the animal cannot. Most mammals cool down by panting. Humans cool down by sweating across the entire body surface. Sweating through thick fur is nearly useless. The fur traps moisture and blocks airflow. So over hundreds of thousands of years, the fur disappeared. Humans kept roughly 5 million hair follicles, the same number as a chimpanzee. The follicles are still there, the hair shafts just became thinner and nearly invisible. Hair survived in places with specific functions: head for sun protection, eyebrows to deflect sweat, armpits for pheromone dispersal. Then there is the beard. It grows only in males, driven by testosterone that rises at puberty. It does not fit any obvious explanation. The lower jaw gets less direct sun than the scalp. Beards are nowhere near pheromone glands. They do not reduce friction. A beard creates problems. It traps heat in warm climates, it harbors bacteria, it requires metabolic energy to grow continuously. In evolutionary logic, a costly trait with no benefit disappears. Given enough generations, selection removes it. Beards appear in the record of every human population ever studied: Arctic populations, equatorial populations, island groups with zero contact with outside civilizations. They all grew beards. That means the beard is doing something, probably several things at once. Charles Darwin addressed the beard problem in 1871 in The Descent of Man. His argument: women preferred bearded men left more offspring, and the trait spread. He observed the same pattern in peacocks, deer, and lions. Males with elaborate features attracted more females, even when those features created survival costs. He thought the beard was the human equivalent of a peacock's tail. Researchers have spent decades testing this. The results resist clean interpretation. A 2016 meta-analysis in the journal Evolutionary Psychology reviewed 127 separate studies on beard attractiveness. Finding: women consistently rate men with heavy stubble or full beards as better candidates for long-term relationships and more likely to be reliable fathers. For short-term attraction, results split. No consistent preference emerges across studies. Darwin identified something real, but the beard serves purposes that go well beyond mate attraction. In 2012, researchers at the University of New South Wales tested a specific question: does a beard change how dominant a man appears? Participants viewed photographs of the same men with different amounts of facial hair, then rated each for dominance, perceived aggression, and social status. Men with full beards scored higher on all three measures, consistently. They were not rated as more attractive. They were rated as more dominant. For most of human evolutionary history, social groups were structured around male hierarchies. Rank determined access to food, to safe positions within the camp, and to reproductive opportunity. A signal that raises perceived rank without requiring physical confrontation has obvious value. The beard may have survived primarily as a tool for navigating male competition, establishing rank before a conflict starts. Less romance, more territory. In 2014, Barnaby Dixon at the University of Queensland ran an experiment that revealed something counterintuitive about beard attractiveness. He showed women groups of male faces, varying how common beards were within each set they viewed. When beards were rare in the group, women rated bearded faces as significantly more attractive. When beards were common, clean-shaven faces received higher ratings. This is called negative frequency-dependent selection. A trait becomes more valuable when fewer individuals display it. The same mechanism keeps genetic diversity alive in populations. Rare variants get a competitive edge, common ones face increased pressure from selection. This explains beard fashion cycles. Every time beards become extremely common, cultural pressure shifts towards clean-shaven. When they become rare, they regain appeal. The beard will never disappear entirely. Each time it becomes rare, it becomes valuable again. In 2020, a team at the University of Utah asked a question that nobody had thought to ask before. Does a beard protect the human jaw from impact? The team built synthetic bone pads with fiber to mimic the density and texture of human facial hair, then struck them with a weighted pendulum. The result landed. Pads covered in fiber absorbed roughly 30% more energy before structural damage occurred. The jaw is one of the most commonly struck targets in human physical confrontations across every culture where fighting has been studied. A broken jaw without medical care means an inability to eat within days. In a prehistoric environment, that translates directly to starvation. David Carrier, the lead researcher, noted that the timing aligns. The human jaw became more robust during roughly the same period that hominids began engaging in more complex forms of physical competition. Natural selection did not give men beards so they could get punched. It favored individuals whose beards happened to survive being punched. The study used synthetic materials. It remains a hypothesis, but it opened a research direction that had not previously existed. Across all four explanations, one element stays constant. A full beard requires high testosterone. Sustaining that level depends on immune system function, nutritional status, and a developmental history without chronic disease. In 1975, biologist Amos Zahavi introduced the handicap principle. A signal that is expensive to produce and difficult to fake carries more reliable information than a cheap one. A peacock's tail takes years to grow, makes the bird slower, and increases its visibility to predators. A genuinely healthy peacock can afford to carry it and survive anyway. A sick one cannot. A full beard works by the same logic. Sustaining high testosterone over years requires genuine biological capacity. Men with certain genetic conditions, chronic illness, or early nutritional deficiencies often cannot grow full beards. The signal is biologically constrained. That's partly why beard transplants became a significant surgical market. By 2016, demand in some regions was growing at roughly 600% annually. Men are paying thousands of dollars to display a signal their biology would not produce on its own. That says something about how much the signal still matters. 4 explanations: sexual selection, dominant signaling, physical protection, honest advertising. None of them fully answers one specific question. Why the face? Humans are more face-focused than nearly any other animal. You process a face within 150 milliseconds of seeing it, faster than conscious thought registers anything else. The human eye has an unusually large white sclera. This makes gaze direction readable from across a room. No other primate has this. Before a conversation begins, before a single word is spoken, you've already extracted age, health, emotional state, and social rank from the face in front of you. A status signal placed on the face lands directly in the highest attention region of human social processing. A beard on the chest would be hidden under clothing. A beard on the back of the skull would face away from anyone approaching. The jaw position makes the signal visible in face-to-face interaction, which is exactly where humans negotiate status, form alliances, and decide whether to trust someone. The location isn't arbitrary. It's the most effective position for a social signal in a species that reads faces before it does anything else. Over roughly 700,000 years, human evolution stripped the body of its fur. Agriculture arrived, cities appeared, razors were invented, then mass-produced, then marketed globally. The beard survived all of it. Every morning, roughly 1.4 billion adult men face the same decision: remove the beard or let it grow. The shaving industry is valued at over $12 billion per year. That's the annual cost of overriding the signal. The man checking his reflection before shaving is making a calculation that connects him directly to hominid males doing the same thing 300,000 years ago. Status, health, capacity, presence in the hierarchy. When you see a bearded face, the part of your brain that processes social threat and dominance activates before you're consciously aware of the face at all. That response was built before culture existed, and it's running right now, every time 2 people meet for the first time and one of them has a beard. If this one made you think, drop a like and subscribe. The next one goes deeper.